So here's our chickpea and lamb soup that we prepared our Polish bread to serve with. We actually served this with a side salad, spinach, arugula, a few cherry tomatoes and some cucumber, almond vinegar dressing, but this itself was cheap, almost free actually. Dried chickpeas, which we cooked, lamb, not much, came off the bones after we did our lamb stock, shiitakes, onion, carrot, a tin of no salt added, fire roasted tomatoes, some spinach and some arugula. And we've garnished it here with parsley and lemon zest. I'm going to have to redo this. It won't be exactly the same, but it'll be close because I didn't film it while I was doing it. And by the way, the secret splashing of the soup, which everybody loves, was Shaoxing rice wine, newer Hong brand. So we'll see you back here in a few days and we'll give you the skinny on how to make this yourselves. Hello everyone, I'm Anthony, the Eclectic Chef, and welcome back to my kitchen. Well, today we're actually recreating a dish that I cooked for some guests last week. One of our guests has a dietary requirement that he's trying to reduce meat. So I did a chickpea soup, very hearty soup, in a homemade lamb stock using the bones from a boned lamb shoulder that I boned. Now that included not just the shoulder of the lamb, but also the neck bones, the shoulder arm chops, and didn't add any extra meat. After the 3 or 4 hours in the Instant Pot, all the meat came off and we had plenty for what we needed. Today, obviously, I don't have that, even though I do have the stock, or enough stock to make a second version of this. So I've taken some of my trimmings from the lamb shoulder and chopped them up, and we'll be adding that. But apart from that, this should be pretty much identical to what I did before. And I have to say it turned out very well. I'd never done the dish before. It was a complete swag, if you will. Everybody liked it, ate it all up. That's all you can ask when you cook something. So let's have a look at our components and our mise en place. So here's a mise en place for our first section of the cooking. We have half an onion chopped, 2 carrots finely chopped, some fresh shiitakes sliced, 3 bay leaves, 3 cloves of garlic chopped, about 1 inch and a bit of ginger grated on my ginger grater. I'm really finding the addition of ginger with garlic a great synergy, even though it's kind of Southeast Asian, it just seems to work out. Freshly ground black pepper and a teaspoon of herbe de Provence. We'll soften these up all together before we add the next set of ingredients, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so here we have 2.5 cups of chickpeas, which I cooked myself with a few herbs. We're going to add a can of Muir Glen, no salt added, fire roasted diced tomatoes, and over here we have the lamb that I've chopped up that I'm going to add for a bit of meat. To that we'll add stock, a little bit of Shaoxing rice wine, and I think it'll turn out well. It did last week anyway, so let's see how we get on. Quick word on the Muir Glen. These are not the cheapest tomatoes you can buy. I use them because they taste pretty good and there's no salt added to them. But you could use just about any no salt added tomatoes, including Walmart's, and this dish would work out just fine. I'm using olive oil to soften the vegetables before we add the meat. We're not going to have this up to much of a temperature, and it really will probably add a good bit of flavour. I'm going to pop the lid on the Dutch oven and let the veggies steam a bit as well as soften here. Everything's nice and fragrant, getting some lovely smells off here. Just pop the lid and let it steam. Okay, so here we've added our lamb trimmings and we just let them brown a little bit with the veggies. This is the only step really that's different from the original batch, where we recovered the lamb from the stock that fell off the bones. We did 4 hours in the Instant Pot, so trust me, that lamb was just falling off the bones after that. If you wanted to, you could use ground lamb here instead of pulling off trimmings. It's probably a bit easier. Finding lamb shoulder can be hard, by the way. Normal supermarkets won't have it. If you're in any sort of town in the US, I'd advise you to Google and see if you can find an halal butcher. And I don't say that as an endorsement of halal, which some people find a very cruel method of killing, but I guarantee you they will have lamb shoulder there, and they may even bone it for you and give you the bones. So that's just a quick tip. We'll come back in a minute, add the chickpeas, the stock and the tomatoes. So here's the lamb after we've let it brown just a little bit. You'll probably not be able to see, but it has rendered out just a little bit of fat, which is no bad thing. It will add to the taste of the lamb when we add the lamb stock. But first, let's get the chickpeas in. Okay, 2.5 cups of chickpeas, which we cooked ourselves. And let's cover this with stock. Our stock, as you can see, is quite gelatinous. That'll be plenty though by the time we've added the tomatoes for this. And remember, we also have to add a splash of shaoxing. And here come the Muir Glen tomatoes. Okay, let's turn the heat up, just get this bubbling a little bit. Then we'll turn it down to simmer. Put our shaoxing in a minute. Can't forget that, can we? And here goes my secret sauce. Shaoxing rice wine, never measured, just dropped in. Let's have a quick look at Chef Anthony's secret sauce, which is Shaoxing rice wine. This does so well in all sorts of dishes. The sous chef likes it in her chicken soup / stew, but you have to buy Shaoxing. Don't pick another rice wine, and for the love of God, do not buy cooking wine. Now, I only use this brand, New Hong. It means daughter in red, which indicates that this wine is served at weddings in China. It's just for you to know. But I love this stuff. Makes a heck of a difference to a lot of dishes. Closest taste, if you couldn't get this, would be Amontillado sherry, actually, funnily enough, even though this is a rice wine, but that's how it tastes. Okay, so just to finish up, we've added some spinach and arugula, which we're going to stir in. This will wilt down and give us a really nice, flavorful and wholesome soup by the time we've done. There we go. We'll put the lid back on and let this simmer for about another 30 minutes. So here's our finished batch 2. You may notice it's a little darker than batch 1. That's because the tomatoes, the tin of tomatoes, make up a larger proportion of the soup than they did in the first one. I'm going to eat this for my dinner tonight, along with a piece of my 2-day pre-ferment whole wheat bread, which is incredibly tasty. So there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed this, and let's all have a great day in our kitchens.